each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
And we're here. It's Friday. You're sober. I'm sober. We're all sober. Good job. Good morning. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Amber from Colorado Springs, driving through Colorado Springs. As you can see, there's been a couple of additions here. Actually, I'm going to take this one down because it takes away from the other one. I'm going to change that one. There we go. See? Look at that. It is Spider-Man hanging upside down. Look at that. My niece made that for me. Kind of cool. Hanging upside down. See? Yeah. So we'll see how long it takes for the cats to demolish that. So we'll put this one back up. I had this one up too, but it didn't look. Yeah, see, that just doesn't quite fit. We'll figure that out later. Good morning, Claire. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. My voice is going, excuse me, Mr. Simpson. Would you like fries with that? Sorry. I'm going through reverse puberty. I can already tell that the internet's a little slow because got a little jiggy with it there for a second. The screen went. Just got out of meeting with Adams County. You know, when they started that meeting a few years ago, it's the ATCC meeting. I have no idea what it stands for. They've changed it. Access to care something is what it means. Access to care agenda. Anyway, it's access to care, right? But I'm mostly on the mental health side I help with. But yeah, there was probably 40 of us when it started, and you know, about half of those people were community members. No, not anymore. I'm the only community member left. Right. And I go, they talk over my head. I don't understand half the crap they're saying. I don't. I do the best that I can. There's some areas I'm there for the detox and substance use disorder. That's why I'm there. But it also pays $40 an hour, and it's an hour and a half, you know. And then I do what I can to participate, though. Absolutely, I do. They're looking at peer services, so I can certainly help out with that, right? So we help where we can. Yeah. Now I have to remember it's government, so half the talk is just like, yeah, they're government workers. They don't move too fast. They're all leaning on shovels, right? There was a lot of, we should save that for another meeting because there's a community member there and they can't let a non-employee know. I knew what they were doing. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Here within the next few weeks, I'm adding on another one. My daughter Kira is going to be coming back and we're going to start doing some podcasting together. We have great conversations, and I just feel they should be recorded so that people know that it's okay to work through this stuff with your kids, with your parents, and to be, and look at that, Adams County wants to meet. So If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Now, I need to come up with a name for it. And it's got to have either the word raw or trudge in it, right? Name the one yesterday. I've been going live with a closed mouth friend. They're no longer my sponsee. They haven't been my sponsee for months. They did everything. Now we're just closed mouth friends, and that one's called Raw Talk. That worked out real well. Raw Talk. It's got to have but it's got to have like trudging with the family, the trudging Millers. Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, let's get to today's readings. We're going to be, looks like it's going to lead us to As Bill Sees It, page 109. It might lead us somewhere else after that. It didn't look familiar, so it may not. It's probably just right. No, Grapevine. So it's just going to be in here. But acceptance is a big enough topic that I don't think I'm even going to need AI for this one. Yeah, I use AI. It's a great tool. It should be used as a tool. I use Chat GPT for a lot of things. Right? Now, remember when it comes to AI and stuff, it only tells you what you want to hear. Right? And I've been seeing a lot of people utilizing AI for therapy. It is not going to work. AI is missing something. It is missing the human soul. It is missing the empathy. Yeah. And it might just give you bad advice. Think of it like your brain with no emotions. That's what it is. So be very, very careful on how you utilize AI. I could see how easy it could lead to laziness. Yeah. It could. Very much. All right. Acceptance. This is Amber's favorite topic in the whole world. I didn't pick it. It was today's daily reflection. We just hit a lot of acceptance meetings and it gets a little wary. So I'll try and mix this up a little bit. Uh-oh. Guess what? Guess what? Can you guess? Can you guess? Guess what time it is? It is time for Daily Funnies with Dion. We're going to go to 55 hilarious AA jokes today. An alcoholic is sitting at a bar. Surprise, surprise. He orders 2 shots. He proceeds to pour out the first one all over the bar, downs the second one, and then orders 2 more. He pours out the first one of the bar, downs the second one, and orders 2 more. I already know where he's going with this. The bartender asks why he keeps pouring out the first shot. Read more. The alcoholic replies, my A group said all I need to do is avoid that first drink. Yeah, I saw that one coming. My name's Matt, and I'm an alcoholic. This is AAA, not AA. Yeah, I was just explaining how my car got in the lake. This is a good one. An Irish man walks into an AA meeting. Just kidding. Why did the ghost have to join AA? He had a problem with booze. All right. That's it. I'm going to have segment music for that one. I do. I need to have segment music. All right. Let's get to acceptance. Now, acceptance is a key. Is a key that'll set you free. Yeah. And it's fun to say. Acceptance. The key that'll set you free. I stole this line. All right. I got that line from I think it was my stepdad Roger. Both him and my mom worked at Arapahoe House Detox back in the late 80s and early 90s. That's where they met, right? And And I'm so happy they met each other. They're perfect for each other. And he makes my mom happy. So, because a man before him did not. All right. Right. But they had a stray cat that was living there. It's not a surprise if you met my stepdad, Roger. All animals like him. We'll be walking down the street and a water buffalo will walk up to that guy and be like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm not kidding. It's the weirdest thing. He has this connection with all animals, man. It's crazy. So they had this stray cat. It wasn't a stray. It was living there now. You wouldn't be able to have a cat in detox nowadays. The government would be up in arms about that one. But employees can bring their dogs to work. And they don't belong at detox. Dogs and cats don't really belong at detox. Sorry. The last time I worked at detox, I really don't mind. It doesn't bother. But when the dog I almost tripped over this damn thing twice, and it nipped at me. I'm like, no, get this dog out of here. So I filed a complaint. Anyway, the raw millers. Feels like it needs another word. Like the raw ring millers. It needs another, what do you call it? I don't remember. Let's get to this. All right. So anyway, with the staff or maybe even a client, but it was usually the staff because you need a lot of acceptance when you work detox. If you needed acceptance, you had to go find the cat. And what I liked about it is that it put action into it. And the action was finding the cat. And when you do that, see, acceptance in and of itself is just a key. Without action, it does nothing. All right. Freedom through acceptance. We admitted we couldn't lick alcohol with our own remaining resources. And so we accepted the further fact that dependence upon a higher power, if only our AA group could do this, heareth into impossible job. Now, there's a process before the obsession is lifted. The first thing is going to be awareness. You've got to be aware of the fact that you are an alcoholic, but that's not going to be enough. You are then just going to you need to accept the fact that you have it. Then you can ask for help, and then the obsession is lifted. It might take a little while, but that's what's great about service work. Yeah. Dr. Bob, if you read Dr. Bob's Nightmare, he says that he was not relieved of his alcoholism for the first 2.5 years. But at no time did he do it. And that was because he did a lot of service work. Right? So he sponsored people as his own insurance to stay sober that day. And it worked for him. And then 2.5 years went by and the obsession was gone. Now, I haven't really heard it take that long for a lot of people, just so you know. And so you know. And why was he able to do that? Because he had accepted his alcoholism for what it was. And that is pretty powerful. Once you accept it, then you can do something about it because you're not blocking yourself anymore. All right. The denial is starting to fade away because the opposite of acceptance is denial. Right. The moment we were able to accept these facts fully, our release from alcohol compulsion had begun. Yeah. One day you're just going to walk by the liquor store. You're going to go home or whatever. And it's going to be, I didn't even think about going in the liquor store. It's going to be something like that. I was in a situation that used to tempt me and I wasn't tempted. I didn't even think about it. Wow. See, that's the thing. I don't really think about alcohol that much. The only time I think of alcohol is when I go to AA meetings or I do this. But even then, we don't talk about alcohol per se. We talk about the problems that alcohol has produced for us and how we work through those things. Right? We need a new solution because alcohol was my first solution that turned into a dissolution and melted my life away. Okay. So acceptance is the beginning of any problem. And it doesn't matter what the size of the problem is. It doesn't matter what the problem is. Awareness and acceptance. It goes awareness, acceptance, action. It's AAA. Actually, it's the 4 A's, but I'm not going to give you all the A's. You'll have to read my workbook. I'm kidding, but I do have a workbook called the 4 A's of Recovery. I do have one. I haven't put it out, but it's decent. Needs a little bit more work before I put it out there. All right. So for the most of us, this pair of acceptances had required a lot of exertion to achieve. Yeah, it did. Well, it didn't take me much exertion. If we were to go back to step one, which I call the longest step. Oh, Dion, I did step one in like 20 minutes. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It took you 20 years to get there. However long your drinking career was is how long it took you to do step one. What? What are we whining about? Come here. Come here. We need a little interruption right now anyway. Huh? This is Sebastian. Yeah, he looks like a nice, pretty cat. But should we tell him, I'm a bully? Meow. Yes, he's a bully. You're my little bully, though, huh? And he loves his dad. He loves his dad. Woohoo! More people writing me saying, yay. All right. So it took a lot of exertion. Our whole treasured philosophy of self-sufficiency had to be cast aside. And that's pretty hard to do for anyone. All right. But what happened is the consequences, we were no longer willing to accept the consequences of our drinking. And that's kind of what leads us to acceptance, right? That gift of desperation leads us to acceptance. It was our pain that made the change, right? Whether that pain was ending up in jail, a family member, maybe a child telling you that they miss you and they want you to quit drinking. It could be a lot of things, but it will be an outside source. An alcoholic doesn't come in of their own accord. There's an outside source. And that's why it's hard, because alcoholics are isolated. All right. So it's a tough one. I would agree. I had to put a lot of exertion into it to achieve it. Our whole treasured philosophy. So this had not been done with sheer willpower. It came instead as a result of developing the willingness to accept these new facts of living, right? So what also happens is even if you show up to AA every day for 30 days, even if you just do that, your life will change enough to where you're probably going to want more. Yeah. Especially when you get that first good night's sleep and you wake up, you're like, is this how I'm supposed to feel when I get up? What the fuck? This is how it's supposed to work. Grass is green? What? Yeah. And then you're going to want more because you're an alcoholic and you like to feel good. But this is the right way to go about it. Huh? I'm sorry, did I not pet you enough? You know, find a different place to sit. All right. We neither ran nor fought. Oh, he being cute. He put his face in the crack of my arm. Like, but I love you, Dad. All right. So we neither ran nor fought, but accept. We did. And then we began to be free. And you're going to love this freedom. Okay. I got a wet chin. Poor me. Poor me. Right? Freedom came to me only with my acceptance that I could turn my will and my life over the care of my higher power, whom I call God. We're now back in the reflections. We're doing the reading portion of the reflections. I could turn my will and my life over to the care of my higher power, whom I call God. Serenity seeped into the chaos of my life when I accepted that what I was going through was life and that God would help me through the difficulties and much more as well. Since then, He has helped me through all of my difficulties. When I accept situations as they are, not as I wish them to be, then I begin to grow and have serenity and peace of mind. All right. So, what does acceptance do? Well, it leads to freedom, which you need. We need that freedom, right? Because I have to stop fighting everything and everyone, right? I have to do a lot of things, and it all starts with acceptance. Sawyer, do not be a dick. So now you probably know where I'm going into the big book, right? Acceptance is the answer, is where I'm going. Page 417. Actually, I'm going to start at the bottom of page 416 is where we're going to start this one. So, refreshing. All right. At last, acceptance proved to be the key to my drinking problem. After I'd been around AA for 7 months, tapering off alcohol and pills, not finding the program working very well, I was finally able to say, okay, God, it's true. I, of all people, strange as it may seem, and even though I did not give my permission, really am an alcoholic of sorts, and it's all right with me. That's a powerful statement. And it's all right with me. Now, what have you done? You've given yourself permission to heal. That's all right with me. Now we've accepted. Now I can do something about it. And at that point, you're even probably going to stand a little bit taller because you're facing the problem instead of drinking at it or running away. Now, what am I going to do about it? When I stopped living in the problem, began living in the answer, the problem went away. From that moment on, I have not had a single compulsion to drink. See, it's the acceptance. Right? And you don't need to accept the fact that you're going to stay sober the rest of your life. You don't need to accept that yet. Date at time works. You can accept that today I am an alcoholic. For this hour, for this minute, I am an alcoholic and it's okay with me. You can start there. You can. All right. Since my obsession was relieved, I have not had a single compulsion to drink. No. Because now I maintain it. I continue going to meetings. I continue, utilizing things like acceptance. I do a shit ton of service work. Right. Try to do things in my community. Make my community a little bit better. If I can. Right. Now, that doesn't mean every now and again I don't see somebody drinking a Beam and Coke. I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. That's about as far as it goes. My thoughts are usually supplanted by something else after that. Be like, it sounds good, but nah. And I say no. And that's it. Doesn't seem, it doesn't turn into an obsession or even a compulsion. Right? And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. It might be hard to accept that fact, but it is. It just like willingness, acceptance is used in everything. We all figure out our problems in the same order: awareness, acceptance, action. That's how every problem is solved. Okay. So when I move into acceptance, I can have a better attitude. Right? And when I have acceptance, I can do this. I can live in the solution. And when I live in the solution, the problem automatically goes away. It is. When I'm disturbed is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me, and I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at that moment. Yes. Because if I can accept it for what it is, then I can work with it. Then I can change my sales a little bit to fit what it is that we're doing. Yeah. You ever see somebody not get their way to group conscious? Yeah. All right. That's where the big feelings come up. It's that group conscious, man. But it's supposed to be that way at the moment. Now let's move a little bit into perfection. Who says it's not perfect? Because I don't even know what perfection is. So how do I know? Maybe it was perfect for me at the moment, right? But if I can accept it for what it is, then it is perfect with its imperfections. You get something can't be perfect because it has imperfections. Huh? Oh, that's exactly what makes it perfect. A lot of art is like that, where it's different, right? Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. This one was a tough one for me because there's a lot of bad things that human will create that I don't think it's God's will. I think it's human will. But as a person who is an alcoholic, I kind of need to stay away from these things. I don't need to dig into that philosophy anymore. Now, sometimes I'd tell you now, every hard thing I've gone through turned out to be a learning lesson to help someone else. That's what it turned out to be. So it needed to happen, or I wouldn't have been able to help because I wouldn't have been through it. And if I can accept that, then I can do something about it. Does it suck? Yeah, kind of. Sure, it does. It did in the beginning. It doesn't now. It doesn't now. Right? Until I could accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober. Unless I accept my life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. Okay. This came up yesterday with Tyler. You know, it was what I ended it with. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Now, it doesn't mean you're necessarily wrong. It's just there is the solution. There is no right or wrong. There's the solution and the problem, and that's about it. All right. I need not concentrate so much on what needs to be changed in the world as what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. And that's happening a lot right now. Everybody's getting canceled and people want this and people want that. You know, everybody's trying to change everybody else or convince them of what they are when really they just need to focus on themselves and do what's right. Right? When everybody gets everything, nobody gets anything. Because human beings are selfish. Right? It's like giving an alcoholic 15 different options to get sober. That's too many options. You got to help them make decisions in the beginning, the right ones. So you got to ask the right questions to get to that. Yeah. All right. All right, one more paragraph, then we're going to wrap up. Shakespeare said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." He forgot to mention that I was the chief critic. Yeah. I wasn't a chief critic. I was just an asshole. I didn't have much tact either, especially when I'm drinking. I don't have any tact. All right. I was always able to see the flaw in every person, every situation. Still happens to me. I call these intrusive thoughts, and I don't listen to them. All right? Not always. And then here comes a very egotistical line, but I get it. And I was always glad to point it out to you because I knew you wanted perfection just as I did. Well, I'm just trying to help you. No, I wasn't. I was trying to give unsolicited advice so I felt superior to the person. That's why I did it. Because I had very low self-esteem. So if I could make you worse in my eyes, then that makes me a better person. I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't work out very well for anyone. And I was always glad to point out, AA and acceptance have taught me that there's a bit of good in the worst of us, and a bit of bad in the best of us, and that we are all children of God, and we each have a right to be here. Yes, I agree with that line absolutely. Right. Been a while since I said this. What you need to do is figure out how dangerous you are, and then pull it back intentionally because you love other people. That line helped me out so much. Because when I realize when I'm doing that, then I can stop myself from doing it. I'm aware of it, then I accept it. And then the action is not doing it, non-action. Right? And who am I to decide who has a right to be here? I don't want that job. I don't want it. The job of God sucks. It does. It does. The pay stinks. The hours are no good, and everybody's ungrateful. So I quit that job for my own happiness. And yours. Now I don't run around telling you all the things you do wrong. Because you're a human being. I'm going to be able to find things wrong. Yeah. Right. When I complain about me or you, I am complaining about God's handiwork. I'm saying I know better than God. Yeah. Gotta be careful of that. Gotta be careful of that. Even when I pray for other people, I pray for God's will. I pray for courage for them. I don't get to decide whether somebody is healed or not. And there's a reason for that. Okay. Is because I have severe codependency issues. I know how it feels. And if I had a magic wand to take it away from you, I would do it. But I would be doing you a disservice. I would be doing you a disservice. That is not actually a good thing to do. Because then you don't get to grow. And then since you didn't learn that, then somebody comes along and they're like, oh, I'm through this problem. Oh, well, just go to Dion with the magic wand. Now, yeah, see, not working, is it? All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.